everybody, so exciting new review for you guys today. We're checking out the upcoming adaptation of The Witches coming soon to HBO Max. I've always been a really big fan of the original The Witches film back from 1990. Even if growing up as a kid it gave me a lot of nightmares, as I got older I began to appreciate it more for the cult classic that it was. So when I heard they were making this new adaptation, I was a bit hesitant, even if they had a whole lot of really big talent in front of the camera. But it's skipping that theatrical release, it's going straight to HBO Max, so huge thank you to HBO Max actually for supplying me with a screener so I can talk about it early with you guys today before it actually comes out on Thursday. Much like the original film and the novel, the film centers around a young boy who goes to live with his grandmother, but while they're staying at this resort, he stumbles upon a convention of witches with evil intentions. The thing for me with a lot of these remakes, reimaginings, whatever term you want to use, I feel like they have to justify their existence, especially with a property like this where I feel like everyone was perfectly fine with the original. There wasn't really any sort of clamoring for any new interpretations of the witches, and unfortunately I feel like this film never really actually justified that existing. There's a certain charm to the original film that this one just really lacks. It could partially be nostalgia talking, but this film pretty much tells the exact same story that we knew from the original, with some minor alterations, so it's not a complete shot-for-shot remake sort of kind of situation. But none of the alterations really did all that much to really enhance the film in any way compared to the original material. That's not to say you won't have some fun watching the film. I wasn't like completely bored out of my mind or anything watching the film. It's not unwatchable, but you know what's gonna happen if you've seen the original or read the book. It doesn't really stray and do its own thing all that much. It just surprises me when you bring on writers like Guillermo del Toro, and also Robert Zemeckis writes on the film as well. You would think with those kind of big voices involved that they would actually at least try and spin things in their own different directions that are a little bit different, straying off from the original source material and kind of make their own interpretation. One of the big negatives though for this film is the CGI. I think it's downright laughably bad at some points in the film. I don't know what the reported budget is for this film. I tried looking it up and it's not reported yet. Someone let me know if you know down the line, but it's really bad in my opinion. There are many scenes where it almost feels like the CGI isn't completely finished yet before they put it on HBO Max. It's really bad. There's been 30 years between the films, and the VFX, they really don't look that much better than some of the stuff you would see in the 1990 film. But the 1990 film did a lot of practical effects from Jim Henson Productions, and a lot of that stuff really holds up well. Of course, not everything in that film still holds up, but many of the scenes on display here, they don't really enhance the source material at all. The mice look really cartoony, and so does some of the stuff that you get with the CGI with the witches. It almost feels like it's already outdated and it's 2020. Even despite that, I think that most of the performances for the film were actually not that bad. Octavia Spencer, I think, was the best out of the bunch. She has this sweet, lovable, yet sassy grandma, but Octavia Spencer always does a great job. Same with Stanley Tucci in the very limited scenes he does get. I mean, Chris Rock's technically in the film as a narrator, and I really feel like his narration throughout the film was completely unneeded and unnecessary, to the point where it almost felt like most of the time when he would pop up, like I was watching like an Everybody Hates Chris episode where it has witches in it and Chris has to get away from the witches. That's why I really didn't see the point of having him in here, just maybe for like star power. I know it's some really large shoes to fill from Angelica Houston's portrayal of the Grand High Witch in the original film, but Anne Hathaway, I mean, she definitely makes it her own, but I felt like it was really laughable just how over the top she is in the film. She's really hamming it up. I mean, got completely going off the rails with this weird accent, and a lot of her scenes were just really rough to watch. And it's a shame because Anne Hathaway is a fantastic actress, but in this, like, I really don't know what she was doing here. I guess that leads me into my final point, that the direction as well also really wasn't that well done. I mean, this is Robert Zemeckis we're talking about. He's brought us Castaway, Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, so many iconic films, but there really isn't the greatest direction in here. It almost really fell flat for me here. This could have been directed by anybody. There's nothing around this that really screams a Robert Zemeckis film, just like how the writing, none of it really has a Guillermo del Toro sort of feel on it, and I have to wonder just how much Guillermo del Toro was really involved in the writing process. It's just going off of being a big Guillermo del Toro fan. I feel like if he was more involved, this would have been a lot weirder and a lot more gross, but I guess it is technically for kids, so have fun with the film if you have kids and you want to give them some nightmares, just like when I watched the original as a kid and it gave me nightmares. But yeah, wrapping things up overall, I wasn't like the biggest fan of this film. I think this is definitely not going to supplant the 1990 film as the better interpretation of that source material. I really think you should just stick to watching the original 1990 Witches over this one. There's really not too much for this one that I feel like you could remember this in 30 years, much like the original. It's just very painfully average. Like I said, nothing about it really justifies its existence, but if you want to check it out on HBO Max, it's definitely not going to be a hard, it's not going to bother you too much if you check it out. If you want to have it on one day, watch it, have something on in the background. It's not that bad unless you're with kids and you want to like haunt their dreams, because the movie has some terrifying visuals. But yeah, those have just been my thoughts on The Witches. It comes out very soon on HBO Max this Thursday. So let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of The Witches when you check out the film? Did you like it? Did you not like it? How would you compare it to the original Witches from 1990? Or is your preference for the original film? Do you like this one more? Talk all your different things, how you feel about different interpretations, what stuff do you like from each one? Either way, let's get a discussion going in the comments, because I talk about all things movies and TV on the channel. Thank you as always for checking my reviews, though. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button. We'll keep making reviews, show reactions, unboxings, and more for the next time. I'll see you guys later.